we have gotten a bunch of photos for the Fetal Therapy Nurse Network, and I want to go through some of the ways we want to update these in Lightroom. So I'm going to show you some before and after and what I've done. So I'm going to take, I've only done a couple of these, but I want to show you what I'm thinking. So here's one that I've done, and here is the after, and there's the before. So let's take a look at some of the things I've done. I've upped the exposure just a little bit. You can see just to brighten it up a touch. And then vibrancy, I usually do add a bunch of vibrancy. So I've done that. And then down here, a little bit of a vignette. Sometimes I'll do this to just kind of, center or to kind of center the focus on this. And this one I think worked. And then for like smaller size images where there's some pixelation, a lot of times I'll add this noise reduction. So it kind of smooths out some of the pixels, and then you can also do a color noise reduction. I've got it pretty high in here. And again, you can kind of see the difference when you pop those in and out. And so that's what I've done on that one. So let's see, let's pick out another one that I've done. So this one is a good example of, so that's the after, and there's the before. The predominant color in a lot of these that I've seen, at least with this group, is this blue, right? They're doctors and nurses. And so when I've got this one here that's looking a bit on the yellow side, I'll show you kind of the things I've done. So starting up at the top here, I have a tendency to try and bring the whites up. And then in particular from this yellow situation, I worked in the temperature, so -22. So that's where it was, right? And then bring that down like that, and that brings it more into the blues and evens out that yellow look that we had. Added some vibrance as I typically do. I don't think I've done anything in the color range here. A little bit of a vignette, just a little bit. Seems to make it a little cozier. You can choose whether to do that or not. Again, a lot of noise reduction, and you'll see it kind of in the uniforms here. This was at 78, so if I bring that down, a little bit more wrinkly, so I don't think it's a bad thing, but it kind of smooths everything out, and I think it improves the quality look of that. And that's it. That's what I've done in that one. This one here is another before and after. Not a lot done on here, but again, I think these blues are a predominant theme, and so added some whites to kind of brighten it up a little bit. And again, like to try and get that pure white going, which I think is kind of important in these doctor, nurse, or health type of situations. Vibrancy, of course. You kind of see how that's bringing out the blues a bit more. And obviously you can go too far with that. A little bit of a vignette, not too much though. And again, a lot of color and noise reduction in that. And that's that one. So here's another one I've done. Here's the after. Here's the before. Again, you can kind of see that I've kind of adjusted the temperature a bit. Boy, I kind of think I wish I could get a little bit more of those whites, but I don't want to blow it out too much. But I'm trying to get the whites a little bit whiter. And this one was a little bit difficult, but I still think it is. Let's see, I've got the whites up, vibrancy, push that up a little bit. Not a ton. Want those reds to kind of pop. And a little bit of a vignette. Noise and color reduction. Again, let's look at the difference. So those are what I did on that one. So we've got a lot of these pictures too where it's kind of hard to tell what's going on. I know that we're kind of at these events and we want to showcase those events, but I think we need a lot of cropping to kind of focus. Let's see if I can find that one. All right, so this is a good one. So I'm going to give you an example. So first of all, we've got a lot of information here that I don't see that we need. And so I'm going to crop out the ceiling there. Again, there's a lot of things that could kind of distract the eye. So I think what we want to do is we want to focus on these two women here. I still think it's probably important to get this information in there. The floor is not really helping us. And even though I think the fetal center of Vanderbilt is kind of good, it's still so wrinkly down there. So I'm going to cut this up a little bit more. And then if I hit that, I think I'd like to cut it a little bit more. But again, I think the focus is to put these ladies in the center. And so I will add some vibrance here. And let's see what else we can do. Right away, like I said, the noise reduction, I think, helps. Color noise reduction a little bit more. Now they're kind of dark here, so I'm going to take this and kind of bring it around these ladies here and then increase the exposure a bit. I think that's going to be a help. And then I think I'm going to do let's see if I go back here on the vignetting here and just a little bit to kind of make them in the center. I think I'm going to go back here and improve the whites on there. Not go too much. So let's take a look at it before and after. Yeah, so I think you can see is that in a lot of the pictures where people are doing their things, or where we're at these events, we're going to want to, like I said, crop that down and take out the stuff within the shots that are kind of distracting from the eye. And I think we're trying to focus on a couple of core things. We're at this event at Vanderbilt. These two ladies, super important to, who the people we're focusing on. And that's it. So I'd like you to go through, I think what we want to do is we want to go through all of these pictures and kind of try and get them kind of consistent in how they're looking. And then we'll start dropping them in all together and try and work our color palette around these. But I think this is a good starting point. When we save these, we'll save these out at whatever the original size is. So like you can export this. And when you do that, you're going to want to, I think what we're going to want to do is we're going to go full size here on that. And then later we'll size those down to the 1500 or 2500, but make sure you export those out at full size. And I thought you should. I think getting these images all optimized is a good first step.